not only important in protecting New Zealand's environment, but it's actually served another very useful purpose. It's flushed out in this Parliament those who are the practical Greens as from those who are just the political Greens. We've got people on the opposition benches who've raved on about water quality their entire political careers, who can't give a speech without mentioning the words clean, green New Zealand, but when they're given the opportunity to actually do something practically about it, they want New Zealand to be the polluter's paradise. The government says that we need to simply give councils the practical laws to be able to control freedom camping. And what the opposition Labour and Green parties says, nah, we want to have the let it all be free to continue. Well, I just wish members opposite would get out of the comfort of their offices and get out there to real New Zealand, where some of our most precious spots are being used and abused. My question for the member who interjects is this: what is there 100% pure about the experience of stopping at a beautiful picnic spot on the banks of Lake Wakatipu and become overwhelmed with the smell of human sewage, seeing toilet paper and human effluent all over the place, and publish from one end of the reserve to the other? Wake up, guys. This is actually not good for the New Zealand brand. All this bill does is let our councils and DOC define where people can freedom camp, where they can camp subject to self-containment, and where they can't. They can't ban camping everywhere, Mr Mallard. Previous Minister for the Environment didn't do anything about it, received dozens of letters from councils asking them to move, but didn't do a thing. Secondly, the presumption in this bill is that you can camp unless specifically restricted. Now, the really crunchy provision in this bill is simply to introduce an instant fine that says if someone's camping where they are specifically prohibited by the council from doing so, they can be subject to a fine. At the moment, if a council wants to prosecute, it costs the ratepayer or the taxpayer over $10,000 to initiate a prosecution. The part that I can't believe about the naivety of the Labour and Greens opposition is this. They say the answer is just build more public toilets. Well, of course you can, and you should. But we will never be able to provide them everywhere. It's sort of that ongoing view of the left that there is a bottomless pit of public money, and the government is simply saying we need to be practical. Councils need to be able to say in some areas, no, you can't camp there, and they need the practical measures to be able to enforce it. The part I find most galling about Labour and the Greens' opposition to this is they are simultaneously running campaigns demanding tougher rules on farmers and industry around water quality. We've just adopted a national policy statement on water quality, and both parties opposite have said it's not nearly tough enough. This government views that farmers are going to need to step up and improve their management of fresh water. That's why we've toughened compliance and doubled the fines for breaches of resource consents. But how are you going to get farmers to take on board this important message when they see the government and councils ignoring the overseas tourists dumping raw sewage in their backyard? The truth is you can't, that you've got to be consistent. We need to be equally firm in our measures to protect the Kiwi environment. The $200 instant fine is not at all out of proportion when a farmer now faces up to a $200,000 fine for breaching their resource consents. The last contradiction I must expose from members opposite is the lack of trust that they have in councils and DOC. This is an empowering bill. DOC and councils have good, practical people running them. They don't wish to kill off legitimate recreation any more than anyone else. This is a practical blue-green bill that addresses a growing problem. It's needed to protect public health, to protect iconic spots, and to protect New Zealand's clean green brand. It poses no threat to the responsible freedom camper. I say to all members of this House, if you're serious about environmental protection, if you don't think it's acceptable to dump raw sewage in some of our most iconic picnic spots, then do the right thing and support this practical bill.
Mr. Speaker.